Blood clotting or blood coagulation. All of you have noticed whenever an injury occurs and if bleeding starts, after some time it stops by its own. The process by which bleeding stops, it is known as blood coagulation or blood clotting. In most of the injury, if injury is very small, then blood clotting or blood coagulation take place. And this process, blood clotting or blood coagulation, it consists of three major steps. Step 1. At the site of injury, blood platelets, do you remember, it is a part of the blood cells present in the blood. So platelets present in the blood, they disintegrate and release platelet thromboplastin. On the other hand, injured tissue also releases thromboplastin. Now, the tissue thromboplastin and platelet thromboplastin, in the presence of calcium ion and proteins, they combine to form an enzyme known as prothrombinase. In your NCRT, it is known as thrombokinase. So, tissue thromboplastin and platelet thromboplastin, they combine in the presence of calcium ion and proteins to form an enzyme prothrombinase or thrombokinase. So this was step 1. In step 2, prothrombinase inactivate protein heparin. Heparin is known as anticoagulant. So now we have to form a clot. So heparin, its function is to dissolve the clot. For the formation of clot, we have to inactivate this heparin. So first of all, prothrombinase, it inactivate heparin and then it catalyzes the breakdown of prothrombin into an active protein called thrombin. Where this prothrombin is present? Prothrombin is present in the blood plasma. So this prothrombin, it is converted into thrombin by an enzyme prothrombinase. Next, this thrombin, so this was the second step. In the third step, now this thrombin act as an enzyme and it convert inactive fibrinogen present in the blood plasma into a fibrin. Fibrinogen is a soluble plasma protein and this thrombin convert fibrinogen into insoluble plasma protein into fibrin. Now this fibrin forms a thin, long, solid fibers. The thin, long, solid fibers of fibrin form a dense network upon the wound and stop bleeding. So the clot is mainly formed by the fibrin. Now this fibrin, I told you, it forms thin network upon the wound and it stop bleeding, and when it forms a network or mesh like structure, it traps the blood cells like RBC, WBC and platelet to form a clot. So what is a clot? The thin, long and solid fibers of fibrin form a dense network upon the wound and trap blood cells to form a clot. Now this clot seals the wound and stop bleeding. Soon after the clot start contracting, after the formation of brown color, have you noticed a brown layer upon the injury site? That is known as the scum. That brown layer is known as a clot or scum. Brown layer is known as a scum. Now if that scum or clot is removed, after some time it removed by its, you have noticed transparent fluid, it start coming out. That fluid is known as the serum. You have earlier done, what do you mean by serum? Blood plasma minus blood cell and blood clotting factor is known as serum, and it start coming out. With this, the process of blood clotting is complete. Let's revise once again. Whenever an injury occurs, blood platelet disintegrate and release platelet thromboplastin. Injured tissue also releases tissue thromboplastin. Both of these combine in the presence of calcium ion and protein to form prothrombinase. First, now prothrombinase in the blood plasma, it inactivates heparin and catalyzes prothrombin into thrombin. Now this thrombin act as an enzyme and convert inactive protein fibrinogen into fibrin. Now this fibrin, it form long insoluble dense network upon the wound and trap the blood cells RBC, WBC and platelets to form a clot.